What you gonna do when Sugar John don't come for you? Tell me what you wanna do.
Welcome back, Santa Clarita Valley. We're here on your Neighborhood Watch, where every first and third Thursday of the month, we talk about all things Santa Clarita law enforcement, Santa Clarita Valley law enforcement, with Neighborhood Watch co-guest, special guest.
Co-host guest.
Crime Prevention Unit Deputy Josh Dubin of the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station. And we were just talking about some of the great work that was done with the help in recovering and getting this lost motorcyclist back to his home. And there was another case right before that, again with these volunteers who make $1 a year on the search and rescue team, and they helped find Mr. Brian Napoli, who was a Santa Clarita resident who strayed from the trail a little bit, right? But
right.
Ultimately.
Right. And, Towsley Canyon and Ed Davis Park back there, very, very popular.
Right.
I don't know if you're a hiker and nature type of guy.
I'm
Perry?
an indoor by the laptop, like to stay plugged in kind of guy.
Maybe you need to take a little journey out there on a Sunday morning.
As long as there's a guided tour and
well, there is
Wi-Fi.
a trail. There's no Wi-Fi, but there is a trail. It's actually very nice. You can see all of the Santa Clarita Valley. It has a really great view. And you go out there on a Sunday morning and it is packed. There's a lot of people enjoying it. And
Hike Santa Clarita, they have a resource. So I was looking up some information when I was reading the story when it first.
They have an
happened.
app and the website. It's pretty cool. HikeSantaClarita.com.
And,
this other, our search and rescue team has been busy lately.
No kidding.
They have been busy. This rescue involved this missing hiker that went off the trail, and ultimately what happened with him was he fell and reported to us that he became knocked unconscious and slid down the I don't know if you would call it a cliff, ravine, mountainous type area. So he became unconscious. When he came to, it was nighttime, and he stated that he knew that people were out looking for him. He could see the helicopters overhead, and he knew that people were out looking for him. He also reported that he saw a pack of coyotes, or wild dogs. And so what he did was he covered himself overnight with the brush and the foliage out there, and spent the night out there again cold temperatures, dehydration, no food. He was wearing a tank top only.
He took off about 4:30 p.m. It sounds like, or at least at that point is when he contacted his friends and was like, I think I might be a little lost. The friends contacted Sheriff Station deputies who immediately, search and rescue team was out there looking for him until 2:30 a.m. that night, right? And then at a certain point, it just becomes, it's too dark to really see anything.
Right. Most of the area that we searched, we covered by 2:30 a.m. Then they called in some additional resources, and ultimately, one of the searchers heard his voice on the other side of a canyon, and they kind of directed, hey, helicopter, one of our helicopters, Sheriff's Department Aero Bureau helicopters, to search over in that particular area. Ultimately saw him, and then our rescue helicopter, the Super Puma Rescue Air 5 helicopter.
The Super Puma?
That's the name of it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I didn't just make that up. That's really the name of it.
I give you more credit.
You can Google that if you want.
I'm glad you're not making stuff up. So it found him, drops down a...
Right, what happened was a deputy, a specially trained deputy, rappelled down on the line, and they were able to extract him from the canyon area. It was the deep canyon area, and ultimately land, in the parking lot area, and then we had paramedics on standby to bring him to a local area hospital immediately.
Yeah, and he had a concussion, so I imagine there's some ill effects with that. But other than that,
right, dehydration, different things like that. We were just very, glad that he was found relatively quickly, before it could become a lot worse. So,
well, and one of the things we like to do on this show is not only just talk about what happened, but talk about how people can prevent that from happening. And we have a few wilderness hiking safety tips. It's important to remember this was not an older gentleman or somebody with struggling any health issues. This was a 24-year-old, a young man, vibrant, healthy,
right.
Slipped
shape,
and fell and got hurt. And I think one of the things, one of the mistakes that he might have made, if you talk to a hiking expert, is going alone.
Right.
I know you guys always encourage the
buddy system. Right.
Right, because the cell phones are going to go down, and
Some areas, if you get way back into rural terrain, sometimes cell phones don't work.
Right. So even with all the resources in the world, it's good to have somebody else there, just keep an eye on you, and you can go contact and say this is where you got lost, or But so yeah, some
hiking
tips that we
tips.
have. Yes, hiking
Go.
tips. Wear pants, wind or rain pants, and a long sleeve shirt during more hazardous hiking conditions, such as rain or if you're going to be there late. I think also you want to stay on the trail, stay closer to
and Santa Clarita is special in the fact that you could go hiking in the middle of the afternoon. It could be 80 degrees, but you get back there in the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning, with some wind going through there. Wind chill factor and stuff like that. We can get into 40 degrees, and being outdoors overnight in a tank top, 40 degrees, I'm sure is not pleasant.
Right, especially if you're like myself from California and you're used to this weather and you enjoy the heat. It's going to make a big difference when it gets cold at night. Another thing that this list of tips from the National Park Service mentions is that you want to think ahead of time of what you'll do if you start to slide or fall, so you're prepared for it. And it says if falling, do not try to catch yourself. Try to avoid landing on your hands, elbows, or knees, and landing on the side of your body is actually much safer. And if you start to fall or start to slide, sometimes you can stop the slide with a hiking pole or hanging onto a tree. So again, I think another important thing to remember is just always be aware of your environment and what's around and the resources, right?
Right. And the way that Brian was found was one of the searchers that was on foot heard his voice. I was reading another hiking website that talked about carrying a whistle. A lot of people don't think about it, but a whistle's pretty loud.
Sure.
And if you were stuck in a canyon area or in a ravine, and oftentimes with the brush and stuff, it's hard to see you, but a whistle's loud. So it easily fits in your pocket, small. I don't know, just something to think about. Always be prepared and think about that type of stuff, especially when you're going to partake in sometimes a lengthy hike.
Right, and if you don't have the energy, at least then you can use the whistle, and hopefully that helps. We have a few different operations that the Crime Prevention Unit deputies worked in conjunction with other Sheriff's Department resources that we want to talk about. We got to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back on your Neighborhood Watch on KHTS AM 1220.